Hey, welcome along to Navigating the Shift. This is Annabelle and Sarah. Sarah is radio voice again today. Hello, Sarah.
Hello, I'm here.
And it's yeah.
Yeah. You've got laughter. I've just got, whatever. What the fuck, man?
What the
So
fuck?
that's what this video is. Yeah. I'm sure there are a lot of people right now feeling this. Both Annabelle and I sure are. So it just seemed like it was about time we talk about the state of the planet and how slow this transformation is.
Which is probably still record speed when you look at it from outside the time frame. They're trying to hold things together so that we don't get the speed wobbles. I'm pretty sure this is still very fast in the big scheme of things as to how you can slowly expose information one little bit at a time without totally freaking people out. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, but I'm not living out there right now, so screw it. My experience right here, right now, is nothing has changed in my reality. Oh. The only thing that's different is we don't have to wear masks where I am anymore. You're in full lockdown in Sydney again. I mean, are you kidding me? You can't work. No. Running out of money. It's insane. I still don't know anybody who's going, you know what? Maybe what you were talking about before is right. You know, it's still the same talking heads going blah, 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 blah. The same congressman saying, Dr. F lied, Dr. F lied, Dr. F lied. Yes, he lied. And then nothing happens. And he goes, okay, I sent a referral to the Department of Justice for a criminal report. I'm like, wow, it only took you 6 months to do that. It's the same story. It's the same things. I mean, I'll look at my Twitter feed or my inbox and it's like, I'm not interested in any of it. It's the same stuff. Yeah, Lex. We've all known this stuff for months and months and months.
Yeah. So we had a video that we were going to do, and we're just going to postpone that for a week because it gives you more time to have a look at that video because it's 5 hours long and it'll take you a long time anyway. So yeah, this is a screw it video. Screw it. We were going to say fuck it.
Yeah.
Can't really put that on the thumbnail on YouTube. It does.
Oh, sure. Okay, we'll just wait. Okay.
Won't go down so well.
Yeah, there we go. So the one that we're referring to is that video about what some are calling Tartaria, a civilization that evidently the world lived under up until the early to late 1800s, when it was kind of wiped off the planet. A reset happened, and all of a sudden we're back to not having free power and all this other stuff. So there's a lot of information in that video. And once again, take parts of it. We're both going with parts of it, but take what works for you. And
if you don't understand the vocal tones there, that means that some of it rings true and some of it does not. So
the vocal tones. I'm radio voice. I must do vocal tones. I can't do faces.
Mm-hmm. But let's come back to the progress that we're making at the moment, or lack thereof. So, you felt, Sarah, that it was that we need to wake more people up before that we can move forward on this. And I'm kind of wondering, that things are becoming more and more obvious, which is good because people are starting to go, this makes no sense at all. There was a lady who put a post up on Instagram. She's in her mid-30s. She's a photographer in the state of Victoria, which is the hardest locked down in Australia. They have been pretty much this whole friggin' time. And she just had this huge rant about how outrageous this is because she lives outside the urban area. So I guess regional Victoria or she's outside the city anyway. She's a photographer. She would normally go into the city to work. So while all this lockdown's on, there's nothing to photograph. All her jobs have gone. And she can't get any social welfare either because she's not in the area that's being locked down. And whatever other reason, there's all these other reasons that the government will not help her out. So she's been using her superannuation for the last 40 weeks. 40 weeks. And she's screaming, I don't have the money. I can't keep doing this. Enough, When I saw it pop up on Facebook. I think it had been around just a few hours. It already had 750,000 views, absolutely gone viral. And it was a huge screaming rant, enough, enough, enough. And some people who had watched it immediately went and started a Kickstarter account and raised her $15,000 to go towards her rent, which is great. But how many other thousands of people have not done that or cannot do that? They can't voice it the way that she did, or they're now depressed and you can't rant because it's actually a lower vibe than anger. I mean, if you can get angry, you can get out of depression. It's actually a higher vibe than depression.
Yeah.
So if you're already in depression, it's very difficult to get back out of. If you can get angry, then you're on the right track.
I found that to be true. Depression is anger turned inward, and it makes you unable to move. You get very still. You just want to not move. You want to not get up. You want to not do anything. It just shuts you down. So the remedy for that is to get it outside of you. If you're concerned about law of attraction or whatever, go inside my spiritually incorrect room. It's an energetic space that looks to me like the holodeck from Star Trek, and it's sealed off. Nothing goes out of there. And literally move your body physically, stomp around the room, punch some pillows, whatever it takes. Don't let that frustration and anger of this reality turn into you and destroy you.
And don't take it out on your loved ones as well. You know, at the moment, Sydney winter is very sunny. It always is. It's cold and sunny. That's usually how it is. It's kind of disappointing for a winter, I have to say. I've come from New Zealand where it rains for 6 months and then it's springtime. So this is kind of an odd winter. I'm still getting used to it. But it means that in the afternoon I can go and sit out the front of my house where the sun is, and whether I just sit there with a cup of tea or take something to do with my hands, and then I can talk to people that are going past, because everybody's craving conversation. And that's working okay. But it also means that I get to hear the arguments around the neighborhood. And as soon as our state premier decided, there's more positive tests, we're going to have to lock down harder. So now we're going to cancel all these businesses. Now you can't work. Now construction can't work. Now all non-essential businesses can't work. And I know the neighbors that are involved in that. And each time that happens, they start taking it out on their kids. So watch yourself, watch that you don't do that, and point it out very carefully to the people that are doing that. Don't take it out on your kids or your teenagers or whatever. We're all under pressure. If you need help, start asking around. We need to start helping each other. Is going to be the best thing that we can do right now.
And if you can just release it in a safe space without hurting anybody, that relieves the pressure so you don't pass it on to your loved ones too. And it's, of course, more powerful if you have a witness that's really a decent witness that's just willing to listen and mirror back to you. But if you haven't got that, and most people don't, just imagine you've got the perfect listener with you and let it out. And I call it the spiritually incorrect room, because it's not, I understand we're going through the spiritual process and it's going to take a long time. No, it's like, I hate you fucking bastards are doing this to me.
Exactly.
Like, get into the core of it. Don't be spiritually correct. Don't apologize. You can imagine you've got a baseball bat and take the premier in there and just smash the shit out of him, whatever you want to do. But it just feels appropriate right now. It's like, ugh. I mean, if you had known, if our lovely spirit guides had said to us in February or March, whenever this all started, by the way, next July, it'll speed like this is still going to be ongoing, but don't worry, it'll only be a little while longer after that, I'd have punched them. No, I'm not participating. This sucks.
But that goes for so many things, not just this event. I remember reading, 10 years ago, the Benjamin Fulford stuff. I call him Benjamin Full of It. and I got a very clear message that the guy who they used for that character is an actor. That's not his name. He's meant to be a journalist. There's no articles of his in the past at all. And the last time I saw him on video, he was twitching and nervous and looking off to the side of the camera. There was definitely somebody threatening him as he had to do that video. And I'd seen other sources of information that were written exactly the same way. It's the same writer, whoever's doing it. But he'd been talking about the promise of the quantum financial system. And it's coming. It's going to be on March 18th, or, pull a number out of your ass. It'll all be fine and we'll all get $500,000 in our bank account. And I'm like, that's just stupid. Why would you just wouldn't do that. Everyone would just go and spend it and get pissed and fall down, and then they'd be poor again. That doesn't help at all. That's stupid. And people they were blowing everything on their credit card because they thought that the debt was going to be cancelled. That was like 10 years ago.
All kinds of bad.
Yeah. So we just got to knuckle down, like batten down the hatches like a tornado's going over, and do not come out too early when it comes to that kind of stuff. I mean, I have to be careful how I say that, because I believe that the street protests are great and that thousands and thousands of people on the street, it's a great energy, a wonderful energy that will stir up the positive and lift the frequency. So I'm certainly not against that at all.
Right. Well, I think there's a whole lot of disinformation on both sides out there. Some of it is, let's say, positively influenced, I would say. Some of it's not. And there's sort of a point where there's so much information coming at us, and I kind of don't trust any of it. So just tune in, focus on your world, find something that gives you pleasure. Create, cook, paint, garden, knit, whatever it is. That I think we really have to kind of tune inward and take care of ourselves. And this is just at this point kind of a waiting game for most of us. I mean, it's appropriate for the people who are doing it to be out there marching and stuff like that. And if you feel called to do that, go for it. But I don't. But we've got to find some way to hold on to our energy, our authenticity, our frequency through the end of this, because it's got a long time.
And we don't know how long this is. You get like Alison Coe's stuff, which is talking about the great event and everything's going to change. And well, when is it? Soon. Okay. Yeah. So is that like 50 years or what is it? I don't know. There was another source that was saying it's definitely this year. This was an Irish psychic lady, and she recorded this thing a couple of months back anyway. She said July to August, there's going to be something that will change that will be almost supernatural. You'll know that there's something very different that's coming about, and everybody will notice it, and it will and she said it's just another thing that we have to manage. I'm like, that's an interesting way of putting it, because
manage.
Yeah. So I don't know if that means, I mean, not like flooding and stuff like that. I think, that's not supernatural. That, it looks more natural. But you think about the event as you saw it, Sarah, with the rainbow waves blowing over from one horizon to the other.
Yeah.
Maybe it knocks you flat on your back when it comes past. That would be something you have to deal with. But that's not the only thing that it could be. It could be something else.
Well, we always think, you see great memes for this, what we think spiritual awakening is. And there's this lovely picture where, your wings have grown and you're lighting into the sky. And what it is this, what it really is you're flat on the ground, your face smashed, covered in mud. Yes, those are the verbal cues for what that feels like. And sadly, that's a lot of what it is.
Yeah, I saw this.
It's hard stuff.
I saw this meme. It just made me laugh so much, because the Premier of New South Wales has just closed down construction now for 2 weeks, and so they had this huge protest on the bridge heading into the city, with all the trucks out beeping their horns and slowing things down deliberately, making bringing the traffic to a stop. But then there was this meme of Mel Gibson as the director with The Passion of Christ, with the actor.
Yeah.
They're sitting together, and here's Mel with, he's sitting there discussing, like, obviously what he wants to happen in the next scene. And they're like, oh, this is the construction industry talking about how difficult it is to be closed down for 2 weeks. And then you've got the guy playing Christ. He's got his thorns and there's blood all down his face. And it's completely covered in blood. He's sitting there listening. This is the live music industry.
There you go. Oh God. Yeah, it's so it's hard to get through this. Just to acknowledge how really hard this is for everyone on so many levels. So if nobody else gets you, we get you. Acknowledge that, how really, really hard this has been.
From great challenges, we get stronger and we grow, and we'll come out of this very different people, even the ones that are slow to adopt and to understand, the ones that are still following mainstream media, of which there are many, bleating about how it should be compulsory and all these sorts of things. Every person will come out of this different.
I think that's true.
And maybe it'll mend a lot of relationships too, because you think about when we've been looking for truth for such a long time and pointing it out and being bashed for so many years, that at some point it's got to be clear to everybody, and then they'll realize what we've been trying to say all this time. And I think it'll just get them quiet, some of them might apologize. I don't need apology. It's just going to be amazing when we get to that point when everybody knows, and it'll be horrifying to many people.
As it was to all of us when we found out.
Yeah.
It's going to be a lot of tears on both sides,
But we were chosen because we are the tough ones, and we can make it through this. If you think about even looking at, world wars or any country that invades another country, and suddenly everything changes in your life, and things are not the way they used to be, and you can't say, oh, that's terrible, my cafe's closed, I can't go and get my coffee. That it's drama, and it's life and death, and generations before us have gone through very sudden change that you have to cope with. And so you just got to basically take one day at a time. What can you do today? Can you feed yourself and your family, your children? This is the number one question that comes ahead of rent or anything else. If not, then start asking everybody for help, everybody. And you usually find that the help comes from the people that don't have much money, because they know what it is to be on the brink.
Yeah.
It's an interesting thing, there's room there for rich people that could help so many. We're looking at Jeff Bezos with his fucking penis rocket going off into space. I don't even know if he's in it. Is he still around? Do we really know if he's still around? Is he going to try to escape the planet? I would not be surprised at all. I doubt that he would be free to just bugger off like that. But
bugger on his big old dick.
I'm getting my figure of speech is kind of slightly mixed up there, but but you've got these billionaires going around with their big boys toys, and they could solve so many issues for the rest of the planet. Yeah. It's like going to the Vatican, isn't it? And you look at all the incredible artwork, and we'll get to that next week, won't we? But just all the money that they draw in, that they could, and then they tell us to be charitable.
That's right. You need to give us money every month from your tiny coffer, or every week.
Because that's what it says to do in the Bible. You give 10% to charity. I remember my mum doing that. My mum was a Presbyterian elder, and she said, it says 10%. That's what we have to give, 10% to charity. I said, you're not giving it to charity, you're giving it to the church. And I found out that in the Presbyterian church, their minister doesn't actually get any salary. So there was a reason then, I suppose, that you give 10% to him. But he doesn't need that much, does he, really? I mean, he needs 10 people and he's got the same salary as everybody else. So I don't know if that's used for the upkeep of the church as well. Maybe that's the way it works.
Well, if you're making 100, whatever, and you give 10% to the church or the minister, but there are 300 people in the church, you're doing pretty good there.
And maybe not everybody was giving 10%. Maybe just my mum was the one that was going back into the Bible and saying, this is what you need to do. You know, there's so much we can do. This is the point. Ignore the organizations. Stop giving them friggin' money. Don't give it to the charities. I think the bushfires here in Australia, that was the best opportunity for us to see that they raised millions and millions of dollars. Everybody gave to the Red Cross, Vinnie's, which St. Vincent de Paul, I think it's what it's called. There were like four big charities, and everybody gave millions of dollars to them for the Australian bushfires. And most of them gave out maybe 10% of the money. And we said, well, where's the rest?
That's a scam.
I know. And they said, we're saving it for future disasters. We're like, there are people, thousands of people living in a tent because there is nowhere to put themselves. Their houses have gone. Right? Everything's gone because the insurance says, we don't cover act of God. So they had no insurance and you kept all the money. So that was a really big moment for Australia, I think, the ones that were paying attention, that could say, don't ever give money to these people. They're not helping anyone. They're just helping themselves. So if you want to help someone, go down the road, knock on the doors in your neighborhood, find out who really needs something, and then see if you can help them. And you have to be kind of discerning, of course. I mean, I remember a family who said that they were really desperate. Oh my God, what are we going to do? We're in trouble. We're going to need to leave the country. We can't get any help. And I'd offered them a coaching session for some reason. I can't remember why. So I went around there. I had very little money at the time because I wasn't coaching anymore. And I took with me, I thought, okay, what do the kids and the parents, what would they like that they probably can't afford? So I bought a huge tub of ice cream for the kids and a huge packet of ground coffee for the parents. And I took it in. I said, here you go. And they said, oh, thanks. And they put it in the kitchen and, right, let's get started on the coaching. I was like, oh, okay. And then as we're going through the coaching, I realized that one of them was still working and had a 6-figure salary.
Yeah.
So everybody's level of desperation comes at different points, you might say. They were worried because they knew his job would finish, but it wasn't finished at the time.
Exactly. I know. People are panicking because they only have, $500,000 left in their accounts.
What do we do at the end of it? Yeah.
So, like I said, this has been a pretty nasty world to live in. Not easy. Oh, I mean, it's taking an awful lot to break it down and get out of it, but we are. And that's all I got to say.
Mm-hmm. We are. We're getting there. And the class action cases are happening, and more people are noticing how crazy this is. So we'll get there. There's another couple of things as well that had been more fear. They turned out to be fear porn and nothing more. Like, do you remember when they first brought out the prick and there were people going on social media showing a uterus that's fallen out or a womb that's fallen out of women? Oh my God, that disappeared.
I didn't see that specifically.
Yeah.
But that's interesting.
Yeah. Everyone's like, oh, it's not just about making people sterile. It's actually making them abort their own womb. I'm like, that's kind of attached. Like, how does that fall out?
Oh, yeah.
And then it just stopped. It's just rubbish. It just stopped.
They just find something to sound dramatic, like at the Olympics in Japan, like, oh, they made these cardboard beds for them so that they can't have sex because the beds will collapse. It's like, bullshit. These beds are designed to carry 440 pounds, and one guy's on his cardboard bed jumping up and down. It's really strong. That's total crap. And it went all through the media about how, in order to protect them from sending COVID to each other, they're making sure they can't have sex on their beds at the Olympic Village. I'm like, oh, stop. It's all BS. I don't
Yeah, turn it off. Find out the rules. Find out when the protests are on, and that's really all you need to worry about. Even the thing with the military, like they had their war gaming thing that came up, even on mainstream media news, they were starting their war games. We've heard nothing more about it. And I thought, well, even if they are planning something for later on, there's millions of us here in Australia. How are you going to cover the entire country with military going door to door? It's just impossible. It's not going to happen. And what's the point of doing it in the city if the people out in the suburbs or the little further outer suburbs or out in the rural areas are not done? It's pointless. It doesn't make sense.
Oh, so and people are getting so caught up with Biden's plan to send people door to door to try to get you to take the jab. Like, what are we going to do? We can't let this happen. And all these like memes about how to respond and how to deal with it. I'm like, if somebody comes to my door, I don't answer it. Done. Mm. You know, there's no law that says you have to answer your phone if it rings, or you have to answer your door if somebody comes to it. Just ignore it and it's over. It doesn't exist. It's like people are desperate to get it hooked onto some sort of drama still. Mm. Stop!
It's the fear porn.
If anything goes all, drama, just figure it's BS and pass it by.
Yeah. So that's the message for this week, I think.
Good luck if you got all the way through this. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.
Well, we'll give you the extra week to work on that, the crazy 5-hour video. Go and have a look at it, and then you can start adding your comments into next week, and we'll have a good discussion around it then. Okay, keep smiling, keep hugging each other, and we'll see you next week.
Bye.